Hey everybody, good morning. Trey Griggs here, Beta Consulting Group, and you are here for another episode of Standing Out, a daily podcast about sales, marketing, and leadership. We've got a great show for you today. Can't wait to bring on my guest, good friend of mine here in St. Louis. We're actually in his house in the basement, so different setup today. Very excited about that. But before we get to that, a couple things. First of all, don't forget about our new swag store that we just put out. We got some awesome items there. We'd love for you to be a part of our community, so pick up some items by going to our website at betaconsultinggroup.com. You can click on the merch store, or you can go directly to shop.betaconsultinggroup.com. When you do that, make sure you use coupon code BETA-GO to get 30% off of your entire order for the month of July and August. We're extending this into August because of my coupon faux pas a couple of weeks ago. So we want to give you a little more time to get a discount and pick up some swag. We got great items. We got a lot of stuff here for standing out. We got water bottles and coffee mugs. We got t-shirts. We've got some of our hashtag t-shirts, which are really special. So you get to use those as well. And we got some new hats that are going to be rolling in pretty soon. So check that out at the store. Use the coupon code and pick up some merch. Be a part of our community here of people that are pursuing excellence every day. And while you're on the website, you might as well fill out a form and let us know you want to work with us. We'd love to help you tell your story about your company, help you brand, help you build that strong brand and message, content creation, social media strategy, all of those good things. So check us out at betaconsultinggroup.com. Also, want to give a shout out to our sponsor, TAFS. These are the good guys in freight factoring. Again, they are keeping those drivers, those truckers out on the road, keeping those wheels turning so that we can get those goods in the grocery store and everywhere else that we need. They're providing discounts for fuel, tires, insurance, whatever they need, cash flow, of course, with factoring. And they're all about educating drivers, which I absolutely love. And by the way, if you are behind the wheel of a truck, thank you. We appreciate you and all that you do. Also, if you're a freight broker, you can be a referral partner with TAFS as well. Make sure that your drivers, your truckers have all the resources that they need to keep those wheels moving, keep the freight moving in the industry. And we appreciate you guys doing that. The easiest way to do that is to click on the link that Morgan's going to put into the comments. So you can go right to my landing page. They know that I sent you over and get started with them. They are the good guys in freight factoring. Hey, listen, we've had a great week of shows already. Make sure you catch them all on demand. Started on Monday. Had an awesome show. Tuesday was great. Yesterday with Ryan Schreiber. All of the shows this week have been phenomenal. Go back and check them out on LinkedIn, on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, wherever that you're on social. They're going to be there, and you can just search for Standing Out, daily podcast about sales, marketing, leadership, and you'll see those episodes. Today is no exception. I'm so excited about my guest today. He's become a really good friend of mine. We do Bible study together. We go to church together. And he's just an incredible guy, incredible thinker, awesome human being, great family guy. Please welcome to the show, my good friend, Matthew Mossotti. What's up, brother?
Hi, man.
Dude, thanks for having me to the house, to the crib.
Yeah, man. Thanks for
Scoot over a little bit more. Make sure we get you in the shot there. Oh, we're both wearing black.
How about that?
We didn't plan this today, but it kind of worked out that way, man.
It did.
All right, so now a lot of people may not know who Matthew Mossotti is. So give a quick 30-second rundown of who you are, what you're doing at PDI.
Okay, so professionally, what do I do at PDI? Who am I?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, so I run the North American sales team for our enterprise productivity business line. And PDI is a software and technology company. We work in the petroleum and retail convenience space. Customers range kind of the whole supply chain from ExxonMobil to 7-Eleven. And so my team enables our customers to run their businesses more efficiently and profitably.
And you got a cool relationship with Andretti Autosport. We'll get to that later.
Cool.
But also, let's talk about who you are just as a person, family man, got some kids, of course, awesome wife. We go to church together.
Yeah.
We do Bible study together.
Yep.
There's a ton to unpack in terms of just our relationship. We met, what was it, about a year ago? When was that?
Maybe not quite, because we started coming to fellowship about a year ago.
Okay.
I think we met shortly.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I got into Bible study, which is cool. Yeah. I remember our first conversation. I was blown away by your mentality in life. And I want to talk about that for a minute too, because, it's like we live in the information age. There's information out there. You can get whatever you want, but a lot of times people don't tap into that and they don't develop themselves. I was impressed when I first met you that you taught yourself Greek.
Yeah.
Like, who does that? Honestly, I'm like, what is with this guy? He taught himself Greek. That's crazy.
Well, a little bit about my story. I came out of just a whirlwind of darkness through kind of my 20s. And when I turned things around, the Word of God became something that I needed on a daily basis. And so I just consumed it and got to a point where a mentor who's also a theologian said, hey, if you have the aptitude, and I had a little bit of a smattering because of my background in philosophy. So I had a good starting point. It wasn't like I started from dead scratch. And just dedicated myself to it. So that would be, 13 years of study, and I'm still learning today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's a hallmark of like who you are and how you approach life, which I love. Like it's inspiring to me to say, hey, just because I'm 44 or whatever, doesn't mean that I have to stop learning. I can keep learning, keep growing, figure some things out. And then of course, I don't know if I'm going to teach myself Greek. I don't think I'm going down that path, but certainly the continual learning, that mindset of like just constantly getting better and challenging yourself.
Yeah. I mean, so then I'm, subsequently picked up, Italian. I'm 10 years into
I
Italian.
mean, why not?
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, and so I try and touch both every morning, in one way or another. And, as far as just, brain health, I mean, everyone knows that developing another language is just good for your brain. A lot of people do crossword puzzles and other things that are also, healthy for the brain. So it's really just almost like a daily exercise. I don't know if there's too much, practicality to Italian or, Koine Greek.
Well, there is for our Bible study.
Yeah,
if you're off in a Bible study, you're like, well, the Greek word means, and that's really helpful, actually.
Yeah.
So no, there's a lot of use with that. But no, developing a language, music, art, the arts, all those things really kind of help, with brain power and all kinds of things, which is powerful. Which I just learned, by the way, that was his guitar. If you saw at the beginning of the show, you played a song for me. You're writing songs as well. I don't even have time to do all this, by the way, but you wrote some killer songs in there.
Yeah, it's a whole album. The band is called Left of Eden.
Is it going to be released?
It's out.
I didn't even know this. Like this is like we've been friends for a while. I thought we were really close, but clearly I got a lot to learn. But you got a band. I got to get you up on stage at church to be in worship band for sure. But you got that. Your family man. You got a great family here. Yeah. You travel a lot. I mean, it's a crazy life.
It is.
It's a busy life.
It's fast paced. And just 2 days ago, I completed a philosophical work called The Physics of Spirit, which I've been working on honestly for 22 years.
Yeah, we talked about that the very first time that we got together.
Yeah. And I noticed the file that I started was in 2014. So been writing in earnest and just finished a couple of nights ago. So now it goes into editing processes and all of that. It's
how many pages?
Well, it's 798 pages in the Word document. So depending on how you would print that, it could be more or less.
Yeah, I think it's probably gonna be more.
Probably.
Yeah, Word document might be 2 pages or 1.5, something like that.
So it's 455,000 words.
Yeah.
Put that in perspective. That's probably 100,000 words more than like Plato's Republic.
Whew. That's a big one.
Yeah, it's big.
Yeah, that's a lot. All right, let's transition for a minute to the professional side of what you do.
Yeah.
So you are leading a sales team. Talk about your sales career. How'd you get into that? How'd you get into PDI?
Well, I fell into it backwards. So I always joke that I'm a creative, sort of posing as a business professional. In 2011, a really good friend of mine and business partner in the production company, which we developed a graphic novel trilogy, which is called Specimen Trilogy. It's about 400 pages. We've completed that in 2020. We started the production company to that endeavor. He owned a software and technology company called Firestream, based here in St. Louis. And his business had not completely recovered since 2008. And his thesis was that he had not invested appropriately into marketing. And he asked me if I would consider coming on to start a marketing program for his company. Now, scholastic background is philosophy, no marketing at all whatsoever, but sure, let's give it a go. At that time, I was probably working at 4 different jobs, and I wanted to ask Alex to marry me. So one job sounded like a good idea.
Definitely the father-in-law. I mean, that really sounds good.
Yeah,
we got the
you should have a job, right? And so I came on and was able to get my boss hired, and that was Colin, who we do Bible study with. Yeah. So Colin came in to run sales, and I developed the marketing platform with Colin. Colin left Firestream for another job in 2016. I took over sales, so I had sales and marketing. We were growing the business year over year by about 30%, and in a private equity-based universe in software technology and petroleum, PDI bought us in 2017. So I came on and ran kind of the wholesale solutions for a year or two, and subsequently have taken over all of North America for
I just kind of learned along the way. You've mentored folks and something to figure it out. do all that kind of stuff. But when you think about it, from a sales and marketing perspective, like, where do you feel like teams struggle the most in those areas? Maybe kind of break down one or the other. Like, where do teams struggle to develop really good marketing and really develop good sales?
Well, I mean, it's you could have a really solid marketing program, a really solid sales team, but I think where it most commonly fails is like the left brain, right brain, kind of lobotomized, if you will. Like there's no connectivity between the two. So if marketing isn't driving into the sales team and creating pipeline and opportunities in a meaningful way, you can have all of the best looking websites and marketing material in the world, but fundamentally, if you're not reaching customers in a way that's giving them benefit, but also telling you what they're looking to buy in the business, it's kind of all for now. So I think that there's that connectivity that we really strive for. That was definitely a key. If I was kind of a small business, making a name for ourselves, we had to be super tight with our marketing sales connectivity to make sure that it was meaningful. And we took an approach of offering downstream petroleum, which was really designed to not be salesy or marketing, but to establish thought leadership and to embed occasionally articles that if somebody were reading it, we would know that they were probably trying to reach out to the person.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's the artistic side of marketing, which is kind of the science of it. Actually, driving behavior, getting people to a certain destination. It's going to be beneficial to the company and for them to find a solution. I think the other thing too is a lot of sales and marketing teams don't talk to each other.
Right.
It's a struggle. They're like, who better to get the content? They're talking to prospects. They're getting objections. They know why customers say yes. They should.
Yeah.
They just know why customers says no.
Yeah.
And that's great for marketing content as well.
Yeah, and we're in pretty complex solution sales. So it's ERP back office, fuel pricing optimization, and logistics. So both driver and dispatch solutions. And so these are oftentimes very long sales cycles and very expensive products that we have to we can't miss them. We can't have anything falling through the cracks.
Right, yeah. And partnership is a big part of that as well.
Yeah.
And one partnership that I'm particularly interested in talking about, which I remember, so the first time that we met, you said Andretti, and I went, what? Because, my dad's favorite driver, Mario Andretti. I mean, I think a lot of people 40, 50 and above, their favorite IndyCar driver is probably Mario Andretti or somebody with an Andretti name, I would imagine. Yeah. So, and I remember that you kept sending me pictures of you like at dinner with Mario and all that kind of stuff. And I was always so jealous, like this guy just trying to like just be a jerk. What is he doing? But no, like that's one of the partnerships of PDI.
Yeah.
Talk about how that developed, and what have you learned being around the Andretti Autosport organization, which is excellence. I mean, for years, like excellence in the racing.
Yeah. So Mario and his son Michael Andretti, Michael who runs the Autosport team,
who's my favorite driver because my dad and I had that whole thing. He would root for Mario, and I'm like, oh, I'll root for Michael.
Yeah, so, that's awesome.
Yeah.
They have a petroleum business in the Pacific Northwest, and their managing partner is a guy named MJ Costello. And in 2018, they made some pretty big acquisitions and needed to really move from multiple platforms, most of which PDI owned, to a consolidated platform in our sort of flagship product line, which is an ERP that specifically works for fuel wholesalers and retail convenience. So MJ, in sort of the negotiation phase of the process, long story short, we needed to kind of get off of a group call, and I said, MJ, you and I just need to talk. Now, MJ Costello, as you can also hear, has a vowel in his last name, as do I. We were able to make the right deal and became really fast friends. And MJ was very desirous to have a thriving partnership because he's running his business on our products. And so in 2019, MJ said, hey, Mossotti, you want to come out to the Long Beach IndyCar races? I would like for PDI to, consider coming on as a sponsor. I said, well, MJ, I'm not in marketing anymore, but I'm happy to.
I'm happy to
come out.
I'll do it. Whatever.
Yeah, and so I, as I said, I have a production company, kind of a boutique production company on the side, and brought out one of the guys that was working for our company at the time, and we brought a camera and with several cameras, and we were really just trying to capture this thing to take back to PDI leadership and say, hey, this is kind of what it's like. This is what you get. Well, for us, that was, got in on Friday and it was dinner with Mario, right? And then we're at the track on.
Okay, but pause for a second. The first time, Mario's approachable. He's cool. He's very approachable. He's very generous with his time. But seriously, you got to be a little wide-eyed, oh wow.
I mean, he's the GOAT, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's the greatest of all time driver, and yeah, I mean, he's got a presence about him. The thing that I noticed right away on that first weekend, Mario is he's interruptible. And when I think of like the person of Christ, I mean, that was one of the hallmark features. He was just interruptible, right?
Available.
Yeah.
Just approachable, available.
Yeah. And Mario would be running late for something, but somebody wanted to tell him a story about an event, a race, and what this meant for them and their father or whatever. And he would just have people tugging on him. Come on, like the disciples, we got to go. And he would just.
Well, he knew he could make up time. He could just throw it to 200 miles an hour and make up.
He's Mario Andretti. Yeah. And then he says, hey, he was doing the two-seater, the fastest seat, which is a two-seater Indy car.
So fun.
And he said, hey, Mossotti, go, suit up. And so
sir.
So that's right. And so there I am. I got what's called the hot lap. So after the tires have gotten all warm, I was the last one to go. Nice. And MJ told him he was going to put it to me, and he did. I mean, it's an intense experience. Yeah. But at Long Beach in particular, I mean, because that course.
You're at the Long Beach track, so it was turns. It wasn't Indy ovals.
You're right. And so I mean, there were moments where like we were coming out of turns, and I thought I could lick the wall. I mean, it was like right there. And long story short, we took it back to the leadership and said, hey, Andretti is a great partner on the petroleum business, and it kind of fits because we're in petroleum and retail convenience. And so we signed an agreement, a sponsorship agreement that was supposed to kick off in 2020, and then 2020 happened. The entire notion for us at the time was customer experience, and we couldn't take customers to the event. So I think we still had the PDI logo on Marco's car in that 2020 season. We had to lift and shift to 2021. Things still kind of weren't opened up, so we lifted and shifted again to 2022. And so we've been running that program. This season we're on Alexander Rossi's car, and then we had the Gas Buddy logo on Marco Andretti's car for the 500.
Is that a PDI company?
Yeah, so that's on our consumer engagement side of the business. So we have Shell Fuel Rewards, Gas Buddy. Those are probably businesses that most people would be more familiar with than PDI.
Right, exactly. Hey, and Chris Horton says, what's up, Matt Mossotti? You know Chris Horton?
Yeah, what's up, Chris?
He's watching. He said, what's up? So,
hey, man.
Everybody else watching the links, make sure you throw your comments of where you're coming from today, where you're watching from. That'd be great. So talk to us a little bit about, again, the Andretti organization. I mean, just being around them, what are some things you've gleaned? Obviously just the idea of being approachable. What are some other things that you've just seen in that organization that makes them so special? I mean, they had a run there where I think they won like 3 straight Indy races as a team. Rossi won, Kumasada won, whatever. But just overall, just what have you learned just being around them?
So, I've been really fortunate to kind of have close spaces with Mario. So a lot of times it'll just be Mario and MJ and I will go have dinner, and I just kind of get to sit and listen.
Take it in, right?
Yeah. Because Mario's got a lot of wisdom, and obviously, he's lived a life.
Yeah.
A very exciting life, and a very successful life. Mario goes into every situation, it feels like, with an expectation he's going to win. He just enters.
Just has that belief.
Yeah, he just enters situations like it's going to be better tomorrow than today. And you watch him live his whole life that way with that mentality and see how it played out.
Yeah.
Only American to ever win the Formula One Cup. Right.
Which a lot of people don't know about it because people think Indy, and they've kind of had that history here in the States. They don't.
Yeah. And Mario.
And he won the 24 Hours of Le Mans.
And he won the Daytona 500 in NASCAR.
Yeah.
And then that was not, for most NASCAR fans, awesome.
Right. Yeah. Not welcome.
Yeah.
Not welcome.
So, I mean, he just, driving across different disciplines, he just has an expectation that he's going to go out and win.
Yeah.
And so I think just kind of walking through life with an expectation of success, even if it's not immediate, you just feel like you're falling forward into success.
Keep working on it. And the thing I noticed about Mario too, and I think this is something for all of us, he has found a way to take his passion and his skill set to the market. What I mean by that is like the market pays for watching Mario and those drivers drive. It's something he's really good at, and it's something he's passionate about. To me, that's like the trifecta. And if you can find something you're passionate about, that you're skilled at, and that the market will pay for, that's, I think, part of why he's had such a great life. It's because he was able to find that balance. So he probably never feels like he works a day in his life, because he's so passionate about what he's doing, and he's skilled at what he does, and the market's willing to pay for it.
Yeah, I mean, his story, coming from exile. So after the Second World War, the lines of the country of Italy were redrawn, and where Mario lived in the north became present day Croatia, and they had to abandon everything that they had and lived in Lucca for 5 years in a refugee camp. Came over with next to nothing, and I don't even think anticipated he was going to stay, and then became the largest name in American racing by far.
Right.
And so now, as they embark on what looks like a promising team with Formula One, kind of going to the top level of international racing, there's a lot of private detail that I can't really talk about publicly yet, but the American Italian brand making its way into international.
It's exciting. I know there's a lot of Formula One drivers who actually are excited about it. Maybe some not as much, but quite a few, because the Andretti name is so big. Now, I will say you came through big this year. Like you came through big at Indy 500 this year. I remember
that worked out.
We were talking about that. I was like, hey, we're going to be there. If you have any passes or anything, we'll take them. Whatever you got, And so I remember you
had a little something.
You sent that text message. You're like, hey, I got 2 passes to the Andretti, suite, and I got 1 pass on the racetrack. And man, I'm telling you, that was really kind of one of the highlights of just like my life in terms of like family and thinking about my dad. Because my dad passed away 17 years ago.
Yeah.
He was a big IndyCar fan, big Mario fan. Like he would have given anything to do what we got to do. So I'm so appreciative. But I think we have some pictures actually to show. Like we had a chance to go down on the track before the race.
Yeah.
I got to meet Mario, which was sick. Do we have that picture? Can we throw that up? Pictures of Mario and
you met Michael as well.
I met Michael. Yeah, I don't think I put that picture up there. Let me see if we got those pictures.
Did you meet did we do a picture with Marco as
well? Got to meet Mario, that's my dad's idol. I mean, that's like just absolutely sick to be able to meet him. And then we got this is Alexander Rossi's car.
Yep.
So we got to be in front of Alexander Rossi's car. We got to be in front of Marco's car.
Yep.
And the coolest thing, and we don't have it on here, is we also we got to be down there till the very
we weren't supposed to be there that long.
we were definitely not supposed to be down on the track. In fact, I think we were like trying to hide like we were part of the crew. In fact, you had said like 45 minutes or an hour we have to leave.
Yeah.
We were there literally until he said start your engines.
Yeah.
I mean,
we were walking off, right?
Nuts, right? Yeah. We were walking down the pit like we know the place. That was a absolute highlight to get to just be around that and to see that. So definitely came through. All those pictures of like you and Mario at dinner are gone now.
Yeah.
So I got my own pictures now.
Yeah,
that was tremendous.
Yeah, we're looking forward. We're going to go to the Nashville Grand Prix next weekend.
Nice.
Taking my wife.
Yeah, that's awesome. I haven't been on those yet.
Yeah, it's a newer race. So
yeah. And they got the one coming here in St. Louis too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that's coming to Worldwide Technology, the racetrack coming up pretty soon. So that's going to be awesome. Well, so talk to me about this real quick. So again, being around Andretti, seeing kind of the organization, how has that impacted PDI and maybe raising the level of excellence, or just how are they rubbing off on because of this partnership?
Yeah. So and I think this is just a picture of perfect partnership. I mean, they have the petroleum business, and they asked PDI to partner with them on the autosport business. And we just had a really successful run this year. The customer experience has, the feedback has just been, you experienced it. I mean, there's no way to articulate it until you're kind of right there. Right. And so, MJ Costello, so the managing partner, is our keynote speaker at our user conference here in a few weeks. So we're really Marco Andretti will be there to sign autographs. We'll have both Indy cars there, the Gas Buddy car and the PDI car with Rossi.
Yeah. Who's my current favorite driver, by the way? 2016 Indy 500 champ.
Yeah.
Finished without his engine running. In case you haven't checked it out, you should go check it out. That's for sure.
Yeah, and he's a really good dude.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, the customer experience, like that's really powerful. That shared experience that you have with a customer, for them to be able to come and be a part of that event, to meet people that they probably just never think they're going to meet or talk to you, and they're so approachable. I mean, that's got to be huge for the brand and huge just for the company, and raise kind of the level of excellence within the brand.
Yeah, and it's difficult to sort of quantify that, right? I mean, when a customer leaves an experience ready to just go run through a wall for PDI, how many conversations are had in private? Does that translate to PDI is a great partner? They give me a lifetime memory of an experience. And so, we're really thrilled that the response has been, what it has, and that we've been able to really pull off a good program. And even Andretti Autosport talks about how well we're executing on the program, using the assets, available to us. They always say, we're not a huge, we're not as big as Napa Auto Parts, right? We're not DHL. And so the MJ always jokes on the side of you spend the least to get the most. But it's really just taking the assets and what they've made available to us, and the partnership is just amazing from to the standpoint where MJ is going to be speaking to our entire customer base about our partnership.
Well, I think a lot of that has to do with the time you spent with them, the relationships that you've built that are really good. And I want to transition just back as we close here, because we're getting close to 30 minutes, back to some more personal stuff. So something else that I always appreciate about you in the short time with you, friends, is your care for other people and relationships. When I first started going to Bible studies, like 10, 12 guys, something like that. There's a genuine camaraderie. And a lot of people you go a long way back. Like, I'm a new guy. You go back years, decades, even with some of these guys growing up. But there seems to be a real genuine passion for just helping people navigate through life, be better, be inspired. Where did that come from?
I don't know. It's one of the best blessings that I have is I have these 10-year friendships, these relationships that just the roots, they go deep, and then they keep growing. I when I think about the AD era on Planet Me, right, and just the exhibition of the second command from Christ, just to truly and authentically love everyone that God's put in my path, and pray for that, and to help see the best in people, because I think when I notice that people see the best in me, it just tends to bring it out, even though it might not have been 100% true, right?
Like, it's kind of inspired that, kind of just pulls it. And the truth is, a lot of successful people, they struggle with addiction because family takes a lot of time, or they just start to get medicated on TV shows or whatever else. They get a hobby like golf or something all the time or whatever. But having genuine, authentic relationships is so powerful. Keep you steady, keep you on the right track. It's good for you, it's good for them. But a lot of people, man, they struggle just to make that a priority.
Well, I mean, each person, each human being, right, each human soul is a wonder unto itself. And what a shame if the number one asset in the cosmological order that we have access to directly, personally, that we go through life missing out on just the splendor of other humans and the opportunity that we've been given to interact and to get to know them better and to be known. I mean, there's so much to be said for just being known to somebody and to another.
Yeah, and I mean, and to be honest, we're messy humans, right? We're all just a mess. But when we come together, that's when it seems to bring out the best in humanity and just makes it just more enjoyable.
Yeah, it's easy for me to go off the rails if it's just me, but if it's going to negatively affect you, well, then that's good cause for me to
Yeah, and you got a genuine relationship that you care about.
Yeah.
And it just changes everything. So, all right, well, listen, we're at 30 minutes. This goes so fast every time. I'm so excited that you got to be on the podcast. We've been trying to get this done for a while. If you guys aren't following Matthew Mossotti or, connect with him on LinkedIn or visit PDI. What's the website?
PDIsoftware.com.
PDI
it's about to change, but that's what it is currently.
But for right now, I'm sure it'll redirect at some point. So PDIsoftware.com. But just one of the best guys I know. And if you're ever in St. Louis on a Tuesday morning, man, thanks for being on the show. Really appreciate it. Everybody watching the show, make sure you come back tomorrow for my good friend Jameson Goforth from GLS. He's going to be on the show. And again, remember, it is Finish Strong Friday tomorrow. Whatever you're doing, make sure that you get the day started right. Kick it all the way through the day, and the weekend's going to be a lot better. We'll see you right back here tomorrow for another episode of Standing Out, daily podcast about sales, marketing, and leadership, powered by Beta Consulting Group. You guys have an awesome day. We'll see you guys soon.